Well, hello, I'm Jason and welcome to Journey to Spartathlon. Weeks 10 and 11 have completed. They both followed the usual formulas of speed work on Tuesdays and Thursdays and longer runs on the weekends. So week 10 did have some interesting components in it though, with the Tuesday having some pace sessions of a 3x2.5k, and then on the Thursday was an effort to get under 23 minutes for a 5k run. Now my PB I think is around 22.5 minutes, so I believe that run probably just about 30 seconds over the 23 minutes. So still happy with that based on how we're going. The Sunday, however, was an effort to very ambitiously get to a 1:37 for the 21k or the half marathon distance. Pretty much failed that miserably, just over 1:50 for that, but it sort of played into how valuable sleep is the night before. I knew that night I hadn't slept very well, so going out on that on a Sunday morning wasn't feeling 100%, so I knew that the results weren't going to be equivalent to what I was expecting there. Still, I did mention in the last video that 1:37 was going to be very ambitious to get that one. So, but we got through through the actual runs quite well. So, and feeling good after them. So, fairly happy with that. Week 11, again with the pace sessions on the Tuesday. Thursday was a 15k one at a steady pace, so that's around just under about 5k per minute pace. But on Sunday it did call for a 32.6k run. I did sort of out of the blue say, look, I want to do a bit longer than that and put some hills into it. So I did go up the road. Did some hill sessions there and also did a park run. It was the first day of park run back as well, so I did a long run and at the end of it ended up in just over 4 hours running 42.2. So I did the marathon distance on the Sunday. Also during that time was concentrating on a lot of food intake, taking all of the types of foods that I'm going to be looking to do at the Coburg 24-hour race. So the baby food, the protein milks, protein bars, as well as the hydrolyte with the salt and electrolyte intake. All sat very well in the stomach, which was really good to see. No real complaints there. We'll talk more about the marathon shortly, because there was a bit sort of the mental components around that one, because there were hills, plus of the long distances. I've never done a marathon distance in a training session ever. I think the maximum I get up to for marathons is probably about 32, maybe 34k. I'll never go to that 42k. So to do that in a training session was a bit of a milestone for me. So, which was good. But and one of the things that when I finished the run, I felt so much better. I mean, thousands of percent better than I actually do when I'm actually finishing a marathon. And just over the 4 hours for that time to do that is actually sometimes better than some of the marathon times that I've clocked up in official events. So, and usually, so when I complete those events, I don't look that great. So movement's very limited, and I'm sore for about 3 or 4 days afterwards. I was actually quite pleased with how I pulled up after the 42k on the Sunday, in that there was no soreness, there was no real tiredness. While I think the body recognised that it had run a long way, it was ready in the afternoon to actually go out and run again, but kept it real and relaxed. But it was just, I was actually very impressed as to the training schedule. The training plan is working. My speed is probably not where I want it to be, but the endurance part is there to enable me to actually keep running and to also feel that good after a 42k run, which I'll have friends who run with me testify that I can barely move after some of the marathon distances that we do. So very happy with that. Even the day after, no soreness whatsoever. I have also been working on stretching before and after runs as well, so making that a big part of before I go out. I've stretched a number of areas on the legs, etc. So not for half an hour or anything, just 3 to 5 minutes, get it all going, and then off I go and run and make sure I do those warm-ups, cool downs afterwards. So the plan's working in its sort of own subtle way. As much as sometimes I value speed, it's not going to be speed that gets me through all these ultras. It's going to be the endurance, longevity, and making sure that the body can sustain the length of period of running. So it was good. I was very surprised with the how I wound up at the end of the 42.2k. So very happy with that. One of the things that I did think about as I'm running, and I do this when running before, is thinking about how do I feel at this particular point in the race, how much further I've got to go, and then look at the orders of magnitude as to if I feel this tired now, how am I going to feel after X amount of kilometres or double the distance because I've got to do this. So for a marathon, to say, well, I've completed half, how do I feel now? Am I going to be able to actually do the second half of this race in the same time, or just a fraction slower, or even better, to get the time that I want? So at the end of Sunday's race, as I was lying there, because I came in for the last 2Ks doing it about a 5 mins per K pace, so that's unlike me as well in a 42K distance run, that I'm running 5 min Ks at the last 2Ks of it. So that's a bit of a surprise, but while sort of reflecting on the run, it was one of those things where I flash back into, well, for a 24-hour race, I've just run just over 4 hours. Well, a 24-hour race is 6 times that. How am I going to feel after 8 hours? How am I going to feel after 12? So it comes back to that mental component as to, now I'm sort of looking at things, how do I stop myself from looking at those components, those orders of magnitude, and sort of getting that negativity within that. I think there's a lot of areas where I've got to look to ensure there's enough distractions to keep me going and not have to worry about, well, all right, I'm 8 hours in, gee, I've got another 16 hours to go. That's twice what I've already just done. So there are a lot of ways to talk yourself out of this, and it does sap the energy out of you. So looking at distractions, etc. I've mentioned podcasts and stuff like that before, so really putting a lot of effort into sort of music, but I know that there are times, especially the longer stuff, where I just can't handle music or can't handle noise, so I'll just want nothing at all and just sort of just left to your own thoughts. So just trying to work out on tools as to not to take myself to those negative areas to affect those runs. So not easy. I know it's going to happen to go there in some respects. It's just making sure I don't stay there and talk myself out of it, or sap into the energy through that time, because mentally this is going to be extremely tough as well, and to sap or exhaust my mental strength is no better than me sprinting or something to exhaust the physical energy. I'm not going to get there to the end, or not as in good shape, or not have enough positive thoughts that I can push there to the end. So a lot of learning to go on there, and it'll be interesting to see how we go over the next 12 weeks, because now we get into the serious kilometres. Not that 42k on a training session is not serious, but when we're getting up to the 48s after doing multiple days of high magnitude of Ks before that on the tired legs, it's going to play out. So we'll see how we go. So the body metrics have pretty much remained the status quo in around about 82 kilos, same body fat percentage. The strength sessions have started to come back in again. Got another 10-week course of those, so just managing those in line with the longer runs as well, but very much enjoying that. I do want to make sure that strength is a big part of this, to ensure that the muscles are strong enough, but also there's endurance there and speed. So it is helping with some of the speed sessions, which is great, and I think it's also contributing to the fact that how well I felt after the 42k run as well, and that my body is better equipped to be able to handle that type of I won't say abuse, but that type of endurance component. So that's good. So look, I've got another 4 kilos to lose that I want to get to race weight. I think 78 is optimistic. Yeah, could I get there? I'm probably going to have to reduce a bit of food intake, but I think if I come up about 80 kilos, equally as happy with that, just sort of setting some goals there. Wildlife count has remained pretty much the same as well, which is good. There haven't been that many hot days or super hot days in which the reptiles have been out. However, after a 42k run, I did indulge in a donut, so we'll chalk one up for the donut on that one. So just about to embark on week 12. Week 12 is the halfway point, or just to finish off the first half. So it will be sort of the last weekish of where, yes, we'll continue to have pace sessions on the Tuesdays. There'll be runs on the Thursdays, but the formula will change a little bit in that Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday will start to increase in their magnitude of kilometres. So Thursday will still have a little bit of a speed sessions in as we go through, but Friday will kick up from anything from the 10Ks that we've been doing right up into almost 21k for a Friday night. Saturdays will also kick from the usual 6.5k or a park run that we've been doing to up to potentially 35k, and obviously the Sunday ones increase after that, all designed to push us even further on the tired legs to get us used to that. So the kilometres for the week also increase as well. So food, sleep and rest is going to be very important. Just want to make sure I'm not going to get injured in any of those, because we're moving into the second half of the plan now, and this is where I said a lot of the action will happen because of the magnitude of kilometres and distances we're going. So in for some interesting times. So for week 12, again, we're looking to we'll do 1.5k pace sessions. I'll just do those around one of the race tracks close by. Then on the Thursday, we've got another 5k to see if we can crack 22 minutes. Now I am going to make sure I rest on the Wednesday. Make sure I'm not got some tired legs for that Thursday. Really want to make an effort on that Thursday to see if I can push as hard as I can. 22.5 is my PB. If I can get 22.5 or sub 23, that'd be fantastic. But I have been told that I'm not pushing hard enough on some of my pace sessions, so this will be an opportunity for me to see if I can crack that 22 minutes, which will give me a new PB for a 5k. Friday night's a 15k. We've got the last of the 6.5ks pretty much on a Saturday, and then we're back into a big one with the 36k on the Sunday. So another big Sunday. Not a 42k, but just we'll do a 36k. Keep it flat this time. The 42k had some hills in it. It was about 500 metres in elevation for the 42k. So not bad, not huge, but not bad for that length of distance. So looking forward to that. So make sure you look in the about area of this video for the training music for this week. As always, play it loud. It'll be bound to be your favourite, and I'll see you next week.